What's up everyone, welcome to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today is going to be my Google Ads dynamic search ads tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to create a dynamic search ads campaign, but I first want to get started with a quick overview. So what are dynamic search ads? So let's just open an existing Google Ads search campaign that I'm running, and you can see my list of ad groups here. If I click to create a brand new ad group, the option at the top is the type of ad group I want to create. So instead of a standard ad group where I'm targeting keywords, I can choose a dynamic ad group. So we're going to click on continue, and dynamic search ads use your website, your content, your products, basically everything on your website to target your advertisements. So if we scroll down here, let's just say I don't name my ad group for right now. You can see that there are different categories I can target for my website. So these are categories that Google Ads has automatically created. So you can see all of these are pretty easy to understand. So for example, if I want to create a target for throw pillows, I can choose throw pillows here, scroll down. You can also choose specific web pages, exact URLs, create rules. I'll go through all of this in the video, or I can just choose all of my web pages. But let's just say for right now, I want to target throw pillows. So I click on save and continue. Now all I have to do is use that category of throw pillows and then enter a couple of description lines here, and Google Ads is automatically going to serve my dynamic search ads. So to answer the question, what are dynamic search ads? They are advertisements through Google Ads on the search network that will run based on the content of your website. Okay, next, how do dynamic search ads work? So pretty similar to the previous question, but let's just say we're creating a new dynamic search ads ad group. So we want to choose dynamic here. We're going to change our ad group type again. And let's just say I want to choose specific web pages to target, and I'm going to use exact URLs. So let's say I want to target my farmhouse bedding page here. So I copy this URL, I come back over, I paste this URL as my target, and I click on add. So now this URL is going to be my dynamic ad target. So when I click on save and continue and I go to create my advertisements, what Google Ads is automatically going to do is choose my final URL, which if I'm using this page as my target, this is most likely going to be my final URL. It's going to dynamically generate a headline and dynamically generate a display URL. And then all I have to do is enter my two description lines, click on done, choose my ad extensions that I want to make sure I add to my dynamic search ads campaign. And what's going to happen is Google Ads is going to use my page. And since my title here is farmhouse bedding, you can see some of my text at the top here: farmhouse bedding sets, rustic bedding, country bedding. I have some of these different sizes here. And then even just this top line, you can see comforters, baby bedding, blankets. What Google Ads is going to do is use all of that information to create an advertisement and drive traffic to my website, hopefully to drive conversions. So that is what dynamic search ads are and how they work. So now let's get into page feeds, because you can create a page feed for your website that allows you to target specific pages on your website much easier. So the next thing I want to go over are dynamic search ads page feeds, and you can see I'm in the Google Ads help article for use a feed to target dynamic search ads, because you need to come to this page to download the page feed data template. So what you want to do is download this data template, which I've already done, and it's going to open up a CSV file, and you're going to see it's very simple, and all it is you have two columns here: page URL and custom label. So essentially what you're able to do is enter your page URLs here, and you want to enter them one by one in each individual row, and then you want to set a custom label for each of your page URLs. So I actually created a sample page feed here for my website. So if we come over here, you can see I have my page URLs here. So there are a lot of different product category pages on my website, a huge variety of pages here. So I did a total of 30 pages. Some are furniture, some are bedding, some are Christmas. But what you're able to do is use labels over here, and each individual label is separated by a semicolon. So I have category page bedding, category page semicolon baby bedding. So basically each one kind of has the same format here. And the way it works is, let's just say I want to put all of my bedding into the same category here. So using a label, what I can do is say use bedding here for every single one. So I could do category page semicolon bedding, do another semicolon, and then baby bedding. So then I can do the same thing here, enter bedding, semicolon, and then blankets. And then what I'm able to do is actually use this bedding as a target in my dynamic search ads campaigns. So once you have your page feed all created, you put your URLs here, you've created your different custom labels, and you have different categories that you want to target. For example, for these different Christmas categories, I can choose Christmas as the same label for all three of these, and then I can also separate them out with their own unique labels as well. And then what you want to do is come back over to Google Ads, and what we're going to do is come over here to Tools and Settings, and under Setup, what you want to do is click on Business Data. So from here, you can upload your data feed, and you can see I've already uploaded my page feed 2022 here. So what you can do is click on the plus sign, click on page feed, and then what you want to do is name your page feed and then select the source. And what you're going to do is upload a file. So basically what you want to do is download that initial page feed template, and then you want to save this template once you've actually completed creating it. And then all you want to do is go into your business data, upload a new page feed, enter a name, upload a file, and then choose that file, and you're going to have a page feed. You can see I have 3 different page feeds that I've uploaded here. So you can create different page feeds if you want, and I have some different examples here as well. But basically all you're trying to do is create these different labels for some of the different URLs on your website, because then you can use them in your target. So that is dynamic search ads page feeds, and I will go over targeting them in a little bit throughout this video. But what we're going to do is we're going to come back here and we're going to create a new campaign, a new dynamic search ads campaign. So let's click on the plus sign here. Let's create a new campaign, and you want to choose a campaign objective first. So you want to be using conversion tracking, and I have some different videos on my channel for how to set up conversion tracking if you're not sure. But for mine, I'm going to choose sales here, and then my conversion goal is going to be this purchase, my account default conversion goal. So that's the main one I want to optimize for. So I'm going to remove these other goals here and just focus on my one conversion. So we'll remove these other goals, and we're going to click on continue. Now you want to choose search here. So we're creating a search dynamic search ads campaign. So it is a search campaign with website visits as the way we'd like to reach our goal. And you want to enter your website here. So we're going to do farmhousegoals.com, and you want to name your campaign, and then we're going to click on continue. Okay, so now you want to set your average daily budget for this campaign. So in this case, I'm going to do $25 for my average daily budget. We're going to scroll down. What do you want to focus on? So I want to focus on conversions, and I'm going to set a target cost per action of $3. So I want to drive conversions at $3 or less. So we're going to keep scrolling down. Under more settings, you can update your ad rotation. I'm just going to prefer the best performing ads, and we're going to click on next here, and that will bring us into our campaign settings. So in our campaign settings, I include the Google Display Network. So we're just doing the search network and including Google Search Partners. We're going to scroll down. For location targeting, I'm going to do United States and Canada. You want to select the locations where your customers are located. Then you want to do language targeting. You want to select the languages your customers speak. So for this, I'm just going to choose English. And then we're going to scroll down here. So audience segments, what you're able to do is actually observe how specific audience segments perform when they click on your advertisements. So what I can do is choose a few of these different in-market audiences here. They have a few here that, based on my past click performance, have actually performed well for me. So I'm going to choose these 3 in-market segments, and then we'll come over here to browse. And what I'd like to do is just see how some of my website visitor lists perform. So all users over the last 540 days. We'll come down here a little bit, and let's do anybody who has a first visit over the last 75 days. So we'll click on back, and we'll do one similar segment. So we'll just do similar to all users who have visited my website over the last 30 days. So we have 6 different audience segments here. When we scroll down, you can see you can choose targeting or observation. You definitely want to choose observation here, because that doesn't narrow your campaign. You're just able to see how each of these audiences is performing when they do click on your advertisements. So we're going to close this audience segments, and now we want to do our dynamic search ads setting. So the first thing you want to do is enter your domain here. So again, I'm going to enter farmhousegoals.com. Select a language of dynamic search ads within this campaign. So I'm going to choose English, and then select a targeting source. So since we uploaded our page feed, we're going to use URLs from both Google's index of my website and my page feed. So we're going to choose this here, and then we're going to scroll down, and you want to select your page feed. So I'm going to choose my page feed 2022 here. So we're going to keep scrolling down. Under more settings, you can choose your start and end dates, your ad schedule, and your campaign URL options. We're not going to change any of these, so I'm going to click on next. Now for dynamic ad targets. So I'm going to go through each of these different options here, but when you first see your dynamic ad targets here on your first ad group, when you're creating your campaign, you're going to see some different categories recommended for your website, and then you're going to see specific pages, and then you're going to see all web pages. So these are the three options they give me when I'm setting up a dynamic search ads campaign. So let's just say, for example, I'm going to come into categories recommended for my website, and I'm going to choose pendant lights here. So what I would do is I would click here. That's going to add this farmhouse lighting and pendant lights as a dynamic ad target. And one of the things you can do is if you come over here for preview, you could see what the landing page is going to look like. You could see a Google search that would trigger your advertisement. So all of this looks really targeted for me. It's going to basically take anybody who's searching for farmhouse pendant lights, it's going to send them to my landing page with a bunch of farmhouse pendant lights for sale. So that's going to be my dynamic ad target for this ad group. And what you want to do is use very organized ad groups and very relevant ad groups so that you're sending people to the best landing page for what they're actually searching for. So if I choose something like farmhouse bedding, or if we do something like farmhouse lighting, this could be a little bit more broad and we might not see the greatest results from this campaign. And then the other thing you don't want to do is take a dynamic ad target like farmhouse pendant lights and then mix it with something like farmhouse bedding, because they're just completely different. Somebody looking for pendant lights might have no interest in the bedding section on my website. So you only want to choose really relevant ad targets. So I'm just going to choose pendant lights here. So that's going to be my ad target for ad group 1. So let's name our ad group and we'll do farmhouse pendant lights. Okay, and we're going to scroll down here. And now what we want to do is create our dynamic search ad. So what you want to do is enter your 2 description lines here. With dynamic search ads, your final URL, your headline, and your display URL are dynamically generated. So you don't have any control over that. So what you want to do is enter a couple description lines here. Okay, so I have find the best farmhouse pendant lights for your kitchen, dining room, and more. And then description 2, shop the best farmhouse themed lighting, including hanging light fixtures and pendants. So a couple different description lines. We're going to click on done. And now what you want to do is create multiple dynamic search ads and just basically enter different description lines, because Google will just continue serving our best performing ads. So there's really no downside to creating multiple advertisements. So let me enter my 2 description lines here. Okay, so I have both description lines here. Now we're going to click on done. So this is going to add 2 different advertisements to my farmhouse pendant lights ad group. And for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to click on next. And now what they're going to tell us to do is create our ad extensions. So you want to use definitely site link extensions at a minimum, and then you want to use call out extensions, and then any other relevant extension for your website you want to use. So for mine, image extensions is a great idea. So let me just choose some different site link extensions here. So we'll scroll down to the bottom. Okay, so I did a total of 6 campaign level site link extensions. I have home, farmhouse lighting, furniture, my shop page, shop farmhouse decor, and then 52 farmhouse decorations. So we're going to choose these as my site link extensions so we can collapse this. Now let's do call out extensions. You want to, again, choose at least 2 call out extensions. So I like to choose maybe 6 here. So we'll do the same thing again. Okay, so I have 8 total here. And again, Google Ads is just going to use the call out extensions that drive the most conversions, if they do help drive conversions. So we're going to collapse this. So we have our site link extensions. We have call out extensions. I'm not going to be adding call extensions. Now let's add some image extensions. So I don't have any actual pendant-like extensions, but what you can do is click on the plus sign for new image extensions and then use your asset library or upload additional images. So I already have some different image extensions I've used in the past. So I'm just going to choose these 7 that I have here. We'll select all 7 and we're going to collapse this. So now we have 7 different image extensions. And with these, you just want to use square images, and the larger and the higher quality the images, the better it's going to perform. So next we're going to click on more extensions again. I don't have an app extension. I don't have a lead form extension. I don't have price extensions or promotion. So we'll just do structured snippet, and I'm going to do types here. So furniture, decor, bedding, sinks, area, rugs, and lighting, and we'll choose styles. So we have types and styles. If you create a new structured snippet extension, you can see here, you choose your language, you choose the header type. So this is going to vary depending on what you're promoting. But you can choose something, for example, like destinations, and you can see some of the different examples they give here. So if you're in travel, this would be maybe an idea that you can use, but I'm just going to use my styles and my types, and we have our structured snippet extensions now. And these are all the relevant ad extensions for me. So we're going to click on next. Okay, so in the final step, it's saying fix these errors to publish your campaign. So it's saying ads, you need to create ads for your campaign, and dynamic ad targets. So if I click on fix it, you can see under ads, I do have my advertisements here. Under dynamic ad targets, I do have my dynamic ad target selected here. So if you're having this issue, what you want to do is basically just refresh your Google Ads and go back to your overview screen. So I'm going to come back over to Google Ads and we're going to refresh in my overview screen. We're going to come down here to our campaigns, and you're going to see we have our draft here. So this is the campaign we're currently working on. So we're going to click on finish. Okay, so I refresh everything. For some reason, it's not letting me publish this campaign unless I add another target here. So I'm just going to add my farmhouse pendant lights page as an exact URL target. So we're going to click on add here. So now we have two different dynamic ad targets. We have our advertisements. So now I should have no issues publishing my campaign. Okay, so now it's letting me publish my campaign. You might not have that issue at all, but just if you're seeing these fix it issues, sometimes they're not going to have this publish campaign button. Sometimes you just have to refresh your campaign, or just make sure you add that additional dynamic ad target. Make sure everything is created, which it is. So I'm all ready to go to publish my campaign. Now I know we only have one ad group, so what we're going to have to do after we publish is create more ad groups. And that's where I'm going to actually show you where page feeds come in handy too. So now we have our campaign. So let's just come back to all of our campaigns here. The one we just created was this sales search 34, $25 a day. So I can name this dynamic search ads, but I'm not actually going to run this campaign, just using it as an example. So let's click on our campaign. You can see we have one ad group here. So let's create more ad groups. I would highly recommend creating as many ad groups as possible. You really want to give Google Ads more targeting options because it's only going to help your overall results. So again, we're creating a new ad group. We're going to change this to dynamic. So we're changing our ad group type. And now what you're going to see here is we have our categories recommended for our website, custom labels from the feed, specific web pages, and all web pages. Now, let's just cover all web pages here real quick. I generally never check this box. It's only really useful for an advertiser with basically an unlimited budget that just wants to make sure they're not missing out on any searches at all. What I would highly recommend doing is taking the pages that you want to drive traffic to. For example, I can take some of these different product category pages I have on my website and say, I want to drive traffic to these different pages. Right now, I have a total of 257 product categories. So basically what that would mean is I'm probably going to be creating over 100 different ad groups. So I might use something like farmhouse bedding, baby bedding. However, if I'm doing farmhouse comforters, I probably don't need to break it down by full and king and queen and twin. I could probably just use my farmhouse comforters page. So you want to create a lot of ad groups and a lot of targets because it's only going to help your results. So let's start with farmhouse bedding. We'll copy this link address. Now, one of the things we can do is choose specific web pages. We could either use exact URLs here, or you could create rules to target a web page. For example, my exact URL, I paste it here. One of the words right here is bedding. So in this URL, the word bedding is in it. So I could create rules to target a web page and say any URL that contains bedding. So that's going to include a ton more URLs on my website because there are products on my website that have bedding in the URL. Every single bedding category has bedding in the URL. So I can add this as a target, and it's going to be a huge target for any page that contains bedding. And then what Google Ads is going to do is drive traffic to all of those different URLs depending on what people are searching. So Google Ads is trying to create the most seamless experience for your customers. So basically, the better your dynamic ad targets are here, the easier job you're giving to Google. So what I like to do is use exact URLs. This is my favorite way to target a dynamic search ads ad group. So we're going to enter our URL here. We're going to get rid of this one we just created. Make sure you add this target, name our ad group. So we're going to do farmhouse bedding. So now we have our dynamic ad group. We've named our ad group farmhouse bedding. We're choosing to target this exact URL. We're going to save and continue. And you can see we're adding this ad group to our dynamic search ads campaign. So all we need to do again is enter our 2 description lines. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, we have our 2 description lines here. So now we can click on done. Now you want to create multiple advertisements, so I would create another advertisement, enter my two description lines, but I think you get the idea that you want to have multiple advertisements in every ad group. But for right now, what we're going to do is just use this one advertisement. We have our target, we have all of our ad extensions. We're going to click on save and continue. And now you can see we have our second ad group here. So what we want to do is continue to create more dynamic search ads ad groups. Now it gave me this error in the top right corner. In this campaign, one ad group missing dynamic search ads. So I've opened both ad groups. Each ad group has, this is my first one, my pendant lights has 2 dynamic search ads. This other one has, for farmhouse bedding, has an advertisement as well. So this just isn't an issue right now. So we're just going to get rid of this notification. So what we're going to do is create a new ad group again. And again, we want to change our ad group type from standard to dynamic. So we're going to continue with the change. Now we want to name our next ad group, but let's just come down here. So we went over specific web pages, how to use exact URLs, and how to create rules. Now custom labels from the feed. So one of the things that we're able to do is if I come over and I open up my page feed, you can see here, so for bedding, I have these different labels here. I can use this category page. So you can see category _ page as a custom label, and it will target every single one of these URLs. Now, if I were to say for Christmas, I enter all these different URLs, any really relevant Christmas URL on my website where I want to send traffic to, I can enter all those here, make sure I have Christmas set up as a label in my feed. Now, obviously I'd have to re-upload this feed and use it for this targeting. So what I can do is let's just choose Christmas as my label, and that's going to target these 3 different pages. So if we come back over here, let's enter our custom label and we're going to do Christmas. We're going to add this custom label and we're going to click on save and continue. And now what we need to do is create our dynamic search ad. So we're going to enter our 2 description lines here. Okay, so I have my description line 1 here. I have my description line 2 here. You can see in my description line 1, I have the best farmhouse Christmas decorations, including ornaments, garlands, and more. And if we come back over to our page feed, you can see the different pages I'm sending traffic to. So basically my main farmhouse Christmas decor page, and then farmhouse Christmas garlands, farmhouse Christmas ornaments. So these are the 3 different pages where I'm driving traffic to. So that's why I have my advertisement, including those words in there. So we click on done. Obviously we want to create another dynamic search ad for this ad group, but we're kind of going through this tutorial now. So we have our extensions all set up. We're going to click on save and continue. And now we have our 3rd ad group here. So we got to make sure we name our ad groups. So we'll do farmhouse Christmas. Now, the other way that we could actually target this is if you look at the structure of my URLs, you could see farmhouse Christmas decor is in each of my different category pages. And I have Christmas signs, I have Christmas tree skirts, I have all sorts of different product categories on my website. So if I come back over here, we'll just do this one more time just to give a little quick explanation. Change it to dynamic again, continue. Now what I could do instead of using a label like Christmas is just come down here to specific web pages, create rules to target a web page, URL contains. And if we come back over here, you could see this farmhouse Christmas decor in all of these URLs. So I'd copy this, come back over and just paste this as my target. Oh, not an end. We'll click on add. So now we have URL contains farmhouse Christmas decor. That would include all of those pages and all of my different product category pages. So basically when I'm targeting dynamic search ads, I'm usually always in this option here. You can use categories recommended for your website. One thing you're going to see here is landing pages from your standard ad groups. So basically from the other campaigns that I'm running, Google Ads is able to take those different landing pages. So if we just come over to preview, you're going to see farmhouse drapes. So that is one of the landing pages for my current search campaign. So it's going to take all of those landing pages and it's going to use those as my targeting. So it's just another option that you have. Now you can also use dynamic search ads. So we're going to leave this for now. And I showed you this earlier, but you can mix your standard just keyword targeting with dynamic search ads. So for example, I have farmhouse quilts right here. In this, I'm targeting some different phrase match keywords. So you can also just come into this search campaign and we'll click on ad groups over here. We'll create a new ad group. And what you can do is use the same targeting we were just talking about and just come over here to ad group type, use a dynamic ad group, and then choose either a category here, specific web pages. So you can make sure that you have basically you're targeting everything on your website. So hopefully that gives you a good overview for how to create a dynamic search ads campaign or how to add dynamic search ads ad groups to an existing search campaign. So we're going to leave this page, and the last thing I'm going to go over are dynamic search ads exclusions. So when you're on your overview screen, so you're basically on your front screen, your home page for Google Ads, over here you're going to see dynamic ad targets. So if we click on dynamic ad targets, you can see you don't have any enabled dynamic ad targets, but one of the options here is negative dynamic ad targets. So we can create negatives, so we can add these to a specific ad group or a campaign. So let's just choose campaign here. And what I can do is I can enter specific URLs, so exact URLs to use as negative targets. If I don't want to send traffic to a contact us page or some type of confirmation page, I can enter that URL here, click on add, and then use those negative dynamic ad targets and add them to my existing campaigns. So I can add them to this Google Ads Farmhouse Goals search campaign and basically say, don't send traffic to these different landing pages. You could also create rules and say, I don't want to send traffic. For example, I don't want to promote Christmas products right now. So let's get rid of any URL that contains farmhouse Christmas decor, because I just want to wait until it's actually the Christmas season or somewhere close to it to actually start promoting my Christmas products. So just some different options you have with dynamic search ads. If you have any questions about any of this, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.